Hello viewer, so today we are going to be creating a stopwatch using JavaScript. So this stopwatch is going to have a start button and a pause button, and you're going to have the assignment of completing the stopwatch. So let's take a look at our stopwatch. It has a start button. I click on it, it starts counting. It's going to count down to 60. When it's 60, the minute is going to add by 1, but since we are just checking it, so let's rush down to 60. So the stopwatch is at 53 now. Now when it gets to 60, the minute is going to add by 1. Let's check it. 60. So you see it's add by 1 and the stopwatch starts counting from 1. Note, my stopwatch is not counting from 0. It's counting from 1 to 60. So let's pause it and get to business. Here's my HTML file. Everything has been created. My HTML file, my CSS, but no JS, and that's the JS we're examining right now. So let's take a quick look at my HTML. We have the hour, the minute, the seconds, the start button, and the stop button. So let's call everything our JavaScript. In the last video I made, I've already explained the concept of JavaScript timing functions. So we're going to be using those functions in this video. If you've not checked out the last video, check the comment section. You're going to see the link to the last video I made on JavaScript functions. So we're going to say var. Let's start with seconds. Should be equal to, we give it a class, right? Document.query selector. We're calling the seconds. Let's call our minute. Document.query selector dot minute. Now let's also call our hour. Document.query selector dot hour. Remember, all these things I'm calling, they are the class name I've assigned to each of them: seconds, minutes, and hour. So we're going to need something that we're going to be using to update our seconds, minutes, and hour. So let's seconds count be equals to 0. Let minute count be equals to 0. Let hour count be equals to 0. So now we need to display our minutes, hour, and seconds here. So we can start by saying seconds.innerHTML should be equals to seconds count. Seconds count. You can see there 0. So minute.innerHTML should be equals to seconds count, and hour.innerHTML should be equals to hour count. Sorry, this should be minute count. So minute.innerHTML minute count. So let's quickly add a span here that has this span of this directly in the HTML. Okay, we don't need it for this. So now our seconds needs to be updating, needs to be counting every seconds: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's quickly create a function for that. Let's call it seconds update. So function, we're creating a function seconds update. So now we need to increase the seconds count plus plus. Now we've said seconds.innerHTML should be equals to seconds count. So now we talked about set interval in the last video, so I'm not going to be explaining it in this video, but we are going to be using it. So set interval seconds update. So we are calling it seconds update. Then we're going to create number of time we want it. Now we're going to have seconds.innerHTML should be equals to seconds count. So you see, with our set interval, it's increasing every 1 second. Now, when you look at a stopwatch, when you look at the setting, a stopwatch typically has 2 zeros. You are going to see 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. Then when it's up to 10, it cannot take 2 values. So to be able to do that, we're going to have a very quick if statement. So I'm going to say if seconds count is less than 10, so seconds.innerHTML should be equals to 0 plus seconds count, else seconds.innerHTML should be equals to seconds count. So if seconds count is less than 10, we're adding 0 to the front, as seconds.innerHTML should just be equals to second count. So this is our seconds update. We're also going to have our minute update. So let's write it minute update. So let's say function minute update. Create a function for our minutes update. Also, we will need for our our update. So let's quickly create the function update. So here we go. So also we are going to be adding 0 to each and everything, minute and hour, but it will not be nice if we are just rewriting this code. So let's just write this code in a single place, then we can be reusing it. So let's have another function. Let's have another function called check. So now this check, we hold the code we just cut. So function check. So now, how is our code going to know maybe it's for the minutes or the seconds? So we're going to do what we're going to do something called function passing. So we're going to say we're going to pass 2 variables here, a comma b. So if a is less than 10, b dot inner HTML should be equals to 0 plus a. Then else b dot inner HTML should be equals to a. So here now we're going to call the check function. I'm going to pass 2 data, that is seconds count and seconds. So let me quickly explain this code. Now what we're just doing, we're calling the check, then this a is going to be replaced with second count, then this b is going to replace with seconds. So anywhere you see a is going to replace it with seconds count, and anywhere you see b is going to replace it with seconds. So we're just passing it. It's called function passing. So when we check it now, seconds count is a, that is the first value. So if seconds count is less than 10, then the next value we are passing seconds, that is b dot inner HTML, that is seconds dot inner HTML equals to 0 plus a. So it will be 0 plus, and what is our a seconds count. So we can also do it here. Check. We can call our minutes update, minutes count, and our minutes. We can also do the same for our check, our count, and our. Let's move on. Now, after doing this, our seconds is already updating. So let's create a function called reset. Function reset. Note, this stopwatch is our ability to be able to manipulate JavaScript, just now to manipulate it, that's all. So we're going to be saying if seconds count is equals to 60, since 60 seconds make 1 minute, but because of our time and the video, let's just reduce it to 3. At the end of the video, we're going to make it to the complete time. So if second count is equals to 3, we're going to reset our seconds count should be equals to 0. So after resetting our seconds count, then we're going to say minute. We're going to increase our minutes count. So this is a function called reset. Now this function, now we need to call it here so that we can be accessing it every 1 second. So now we're going to call this reset function in our seconds update. So I'm going to call it reset. So let's see 1. Okay, so seconds count should be equals to 0. We said if seconds count is, it should be double, it's equals to 3. So 1 2 3, 1 2 3, but our minute is not updating. So what's wrong? So we need to call the minute update here also. Minute update. Why are we calling the minute update? So that it can perform this function we've written here and be updating the inner HTML. 1 2 3, change to 3 and reset back to 0. So I'm not starting my own stopwatch from 0, I'm starting from 1 to 60. So I'm still on the line. So let's increase it a little to 5. So if seconds count is equals to 5, seconds count equals to 0, minutes count should be increased. So we're going to have else if minute count is equals, normally it should be 60, but because of what we are doing, I'm going to make it 3. We are going to say seconds count should be equals to 0, or we're going to reset the minute count. Minute count should be equals to 0. Yeah, then we're going to increase our R. So we can call our R update here also. R update. So let's see 1 2 3 4. Okay, we said 5, right? Yes. All right, so let's check. We said if minutes count, it should be double. Silly mistake. 1 3 4 5. It's increased by 1. 1 2 3 4 5. It increases 1 2 3 4 5. It increases, then it resets. So our R is supposed to increase by 1. So why is it not increasing? So we have R update. So we have R count. So it should be R count plus plus. So we're increasing the hour by 1. So 4 5. It increased by 1. 2 3 4 5. Yes, 1 2 3 4 5. So yeah, it resets the minute count and increase the R. So now let's add something else. So if a is equals to 0, so b.innerHTML should be equals to 0 plus a plus a. All right, so this will be else if. All right, so we have our seconds update, minutes update, hour update, then our check. We used function passing here, then our reset function. But now we want this time to take effect when we just click on start. So let's call our start button start button should be equals to document query selector dot start button. I guess that was the class I gave to it. So let's check. We have start button. Yes. So now we're going to add an event listener to it. We're going to say start button dot add event listener. So as we are adding the event listener, what do we want? When we click on it, we want our function of set interval to take place. So we're going to set it. Now we're going to just copy this and paste it here. If a is equals to 0 and presently a, okay, so we are going to call this check function. Let's call this check function also. This check function, let's call them here. So check, that is to check at the beginning. Seconds count seconds. All right, check minute count minutes. Also check, we're checking our count hour. So this is just an initial check. Don't forget we did function passing. So let's click on start. So when we click on start, we're going to see it's going to start counting 3, 4, 5. Then it starts, the minutes increase. So when you see some stopwatch, they are going to count from, let's say they are counting to, instead of 60 seconds, they are going to count to 59 because their stopwatch starts from 0, but my own stopwatch is starting from 1, so I have to count to 60. So let's change it to 60. It's meant to be 60. Also, if minutes count is equals to 60. So let's quickly add our pause. Now remember, in the last video I did, I explained another timing function called clear interval. So I said before we can use clear interval, we need to have an ID that is monitoring it in that last video. So I'm going to say let ID. It's not going to have any variable yet. So I'm going to say stop button. So I've not called it. Yeah. So var stop button should be equals to document dot query selector dot stop button. I think that was the class I gave it. Stop button. Yes, so I can call it here now. Stop button dot add event listener. When we click on it, or do we want it to perform? So right now we are going to set our ID. That was what I explained in the last video, ID. So in order to be able to use clear interval, we need the ID. So we're going to say clear interval ID. So we're going to be able to pause it. So let's start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I can pause. So it is paused. And I can resume by clicking on start. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it counts to 60 and let's see what happened. So it's almost getting to 60, 58, 59, 60. It increases and my own start counting from 1, not from 0. Let's reduce this so that we're going to see that the hour also is actually functioning. So let's reduce this to 2. So we're going to see the hour increase. So let's start 1, 2, 1, 2. It resets and the hour increases. So this is the assignment we're going to do. At the initial, I will only be able to see start button, no pause button. Now when I click on start, it's going to be disabled. Then I'll be able to see the pause button. Now if I click on pause, the pause button is going to be disabled. Then the start button is going to change to resume, so that I can click on it to resume. And finally, you are going to add a reset function, a end function. Now once I click end, everything is going to reset automatically. Please, if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'll keep dropping quality coding content and tech content. You will enjoy it a lot. Thank you very much.